Greetings to you from wherever you're watching us tonight. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. Me, Adebayo. Tonight on the show, we will be talking about the 2024 Under 17 NPFL Youth League. We'll also be talking about archery on the show tonight. We'll give you a slice of what is happening on the domestic scene with women's football, men's football, and at some point we'll travel abroad to talk about what's happening in the Europa League. That's the outlook of the show. Tonight, we will also give you a slice of cricket on the show. All right. It's a two-man show. My colleague, Austin Okonakpan, of course, is suited and ready as we take this trip together across the money-spinning world of sports.
Sport greetings to you, Yemi, and of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. Always an action-packed world of sports action right here in Europe with the Europa League. Some interesting results already coming out of that one. We'll talk about it on the show tonight. I love it so much whenever we give attention to grassroots football development in Nigeria. And that's why I'm pumped up tonight to talk about the newly introduced NPFL Youth League for our under 17s. We've seen what the Super Eagles did. That level is where we can get more Stanley Wabalis, more Samuel Chukwuezes, get people to replace Kenneth Omeruo, William Troost Ekong. So we must take it very seriously, and I'm looking forward to that conversation on the show tonight. Also, you mentioned cricket and every other thing that makes our world of sports an action-packed and engaging one.
All right, so we're going to start off tonight from where Austin talked about it. Of course, the moves to produce the next Samuel Chukwueze, Kenneth Omeruo, and those things have been happening and it has flown under the radar of some sort. But tonight on the show, we will highlight some of those things. We're talking about the 2024 Under 17 NPFL Youth League. It's the maiden edition, and of course, it has been played across 5 zones, and we are now into that final stage. A total of 30 matches had been played, and it has registered 90 goals, an average of 3 goals per match. And those matches were played between 30th January to 3rd of February. And of course, we're going to get to talk about all of those things and a lot to say about some of those things. Still talking about the things that will happen later on. But let me pause and bring into the conversation somebody that needs little or no introduction when you're talking about Nigerian football. He is currently the chairman of the Youth League Organizing Committee. It's my pleasure to welcome Emeka Yama to the show tonight. Greetings to you, sir. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show.
Yeah, Yemi, hi, it's Lagos. It's hot here in Abuja. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's the same everywhere. Nice to see you, sir. But let's just dive straight into what I talked about. Like I said, he has flown under the radar, but I know a lot of preparation has gone into all of this. And of course, is well intended to get these young guys playing, representing their parent clubs. I want to start by asking, how has the journey been?
Yeah, Yemi, it's been quite challenging, but above all, interesting. Because we are talking about a program that is quite intentional. Honorable Elebole-led board was very, very direct in backing this grassroots program. As a matter of fact, it's a commendable one. It's something that's giving a positive vibe to the main league itself. And what is it all about? To create a synergy between grassroots football and the professional football. To create a synergy between youth football and those that will grow into the main NPFL. So the zonal elimination and the championship was fantastic. Across 5 zones, as you have earlier said, right there in Kaduna, Lafia, Enugu, Port Harcourt, as a matter of fact. So, I mean, we're excited that the quality of what we saw shows there is future for Nigerian football. All we need to do is put it together, make it a tradition, make sure that no gap is lost in ensuring greater tomorrow, today's stars and future stars. That will be the purpose of this youth program.
All right, I like what I'm seeing. My colleague Osno Konakman is with me as well. And he's going to be asking you, once you respond to my next question, he's going to be taking it from there. But sustainability is good. We're seeing these young kids, we're seeing the clubs be mandated to do it, and it's good. But sustainability, what is the intention? How far do we want to go? Is it maiden edition? Are we going to see many? Is it an idea that might be pushed aside, or we're in it for the long haul?
The chairman of NPFL, Honorable told me, he said, Pastor, listen to me. This is very serious. I want this program to surpass and outlive my administration. So for me, it's not a one-off thing. It's not something that we just want to come and say we are doing the maiden edition and it ends. We have come to grow Nigerian football. And the only way to grow Nigerian football is to start from the foundation. Lack of foundation in anything in life is not sustainable. So if the clubs become intentional, as indeed the NPFL is, it means they're going to take this program very seriously. And I want to announce to you that a couple of players already have been promoted from this youth program to their main team. Rangers International did it, Kano Pillars did it, because of the quantum of talent that was at play at this zonal level. I am excited to see what's going to happen in Benin, starting on the 24th, 25th, going into the 2nd of March. It's going to be quite exciting, bringing together the best of youth football as has never been seen in this country. The best of football as has never been witnessed, bringing stars of tomorrow. And we are bringing scouts. We are working with the technical committee and the technical department of Nigerian football. We are going to be having scouts who are going to, look at the very outstanding players. Mind you, at the zonal levels, we sent out stars too. We have picked players. At the end of the day, we're going to bring them together. When we become intentional in programs like this, under 20 national team, under 23 national team, we will no more be rushing towards academies, rushing to know. We would have had a template where the coaches will go, see the players themselves, see what they can do, and they become ready material, a ready source to give us what we want in this country. Because it's like somebody said, academies are good, I have one. But, you also have to give credit to these professional clubs for them to be encouraged in sustaining and funding under 15, possibly under 12, to under 15, to under 17, and of course to under 19 or Team B. That's the structure, and that's what it has to be. And this is the assurance I have from the chairman of NPFL and his board, that they have come to the right, the wrong, and ensure that it's not a one-off thing, but it has to be something that will be for the greater good of Nigerian football.
Emeka Yama, thank you so much for your time on the show tonight, and it's good to see you again. I liked when you mentioned that we've got to be intentional with this sort of programs, because anything that you do at the grassroots is delicate. And with the level that we've reached with our football, we've passed where we should just do things. We must do them properly. I like the fact that this is under 17. Let's talk about the processes involved. Age cheat is a cankerworm to our football. How did we pick these players? How were they put together? And how did you and your team ensure that we got the right guys in the right age brackets competing at the championship?
Yeah, of course, age cheat is common here, but I guess that when we have programs that is deliberate and intentional as this, we would have been able to address the issue of age cheat. When a team has under 12, you have a history of the player when he started, when he's moving to under 15, when he's going to under 17 and when he's going to under 19, it's already there. Right now, we are keeping statistics and records. We are very, very serious with it. We are uploading it in the system. We did our best to ensure that as much as 80-90% or more, we were able to get the right players of the right age. Apart from using international passport or NIN, we also did physical screening to really, and a whole lot of players we are screened out. We say, hey, you don't have business here. We want to get it right this time. And I am prayerful that by the second stanza, by the second edition, we're going to bring technology into it. We're going to bring science into it. Why not us introduce MRI so that we can begin to get the real ages of the players without anybody coming to tell lies, make an argument as the case may be. But I can tell you that from what you have seen, from the pictures and the ones you're going to see in the championship playoff, I can assure you that we are on the right step in getting it right. All we need is cooperation. And listen to me. If these clubs know that we're not here because you want to win the money, you want to win the trophy, but to, showcase your players. So the area of a cheat will be, reduced. Will not be something that because I want to be champion, we will not do that. We want to see even the team that didn't do well have most of the players that may be invited to national teams at any point in time. So we are deliberate about it, we're intentional about it, we are very serious about it.
I like it. I like that you're keeping records. You're taking down those important, data that can be used tomorrow when we want to talk about developing football in Nigeria. Emeka Yama, you know how it is with club football in Nigeria. A major problem is because 98% of the clubs are state-owned. With this sort of program, what policies can we put in place to ensure that after this competition, Rangers will not just tell the players, oh, you've played competition, go home. Abia Warriors will not just tell the players, oh, we don't have any space for you. What can we do to ensure that these clubs embrace academy football, embrace grassroots football, and give these talents a proper place in the club structure?
Austin, let me shock you with something now. Listen to me. Why and the clubs must take this program very seriously. One, tell me when last a player from NPFL was signed outside the country. But on a daily basis, the academies are selling players. So even the scouts, even the foreign clubs understand the issue of a cheat here. So they come to the foundation looking for the players with the talent and with the real ages. And that has undermined the ability of professional clubs in Nigeria to be able to market their players. Except the player plays in the national team, except the players play for Super Eagles, under 20, under 23, they hardly get marketed outside the country. But academies on a daily basis are shipping players outside this country, collecting $20,000, $30,000 with a future sale deal, and they are undermining the business here. So if clubs take this academic thing serious by having youth program, then of course they too can be part of the business. Football is business, it's big money. It's big money, because when you see a player who is 29 telling you he is in an academy playing under 20 football, he's deceiving himself and the club and the country. But when we have a program as this, intentional and deliberate, clubs will go to scout from secondary school, from primary school, begin to nurture them from stage to stage and ensure their growth and see them move from one stage to the other. By so doing, we would have initiated a sustainable program for the growth of football in Nigeria. I do not understand why you are doing under 20, under 16. You go outside the country and bring a player to come and play for Nigeria. Hey, Austin, we're joking. But if we have this program in place and the coaches monitor them while the competition is going on, you know what? Their materials are going to be readily available in ensuring the sustainability of youth football and grassroots football.
I agree with you totally. Carry those club chairmen along. They need to key into this vision. They need to understand it. And let's see, talk to Agbenga Elegbeleye. Let's see if we can make policies and implement them, that clubs that are participating in this, you must have place for young players in the club structure. Before I hand it over to Yemi, please let us know, what should we be expecting from the championship playoffs?
Yeah, I can assure you that I was discussing with the chairman of the NPFL today, and he has okayed a whole lot of programs. I can assure you that arrangements are in top gear to ensure that the matches of the finals will be taken live. The chairman has concluded arrangement with Star Times to take our matches live. Okay, that's one. Number two is that we are making the clubs comfortable by ensuring that best of officiating is ensured, because we had one or two pockets of complaints at the zonal level. That's not what we need at this time. We want the best of football, best of officiating, because we are creating an exercise that will change the face of football in this country. We want to support what is being done at the professional level. That is why our committee is very serious in ensuring that at the end of the day, the chairman and the board members will be happy, and indeed Nigerians, that yes, we are getting it right. Number two is that Obe Stadium is going to be the veritable playground for good football. There's good pitch there. We are going to have 2 matches a day. We're going to have breaks. We're going to give the teams break, even though they are youths and young, but we also think they need 1 or 2 days off to give them a respite. So it's going to be an 8-day program. And more than that, we want a whole lot of football personalities to come into Benin and see the new thing that is happening in NPFL. Today, somebody was saying that it's a good record that at the end of the first stanza, all teams are playing equal matches, plus those that are in the continent. Okay? So what we are doing is to support the good program of NPFL by making sure that the foundation is right. Because the Bible says, without the foundation, you're wasting your time. So Austin, in Benin, we're expecting good football. We're expecting some excitement among the youth. We are creating excitement. Look forward to coming to be watched on live TV in your homes, wherever, all over the world. And then the NFF technical department is going to work with us in ensuring that they scout young, good, talented players that will be of service to the nation by the time we want their services done. So that's what we are doing. We will showcase good football. We will showcase an exciting branding. It's going to be a razzmatazz of a thing. We want to create some entertainment, football with entertainment, so that people will say, yes, we are getting it right. Yes, we can do it. We have what it takes to do it. All we need is the support, and it's achievable. I can tell you that.
Thank you so much.
I'm scratching my head to see if there are other questions I can ask, but you definitely have said everything. Let me go quickly across. Emeka Yama talked about it, so let me just quickly show this to you. He talked about the competition played in 5 zones, so that you understand when he talked about playoffs, the teams that won from these zones are the teams that will be playing in that playoff that is going to start next week and enter into March. So from the Northwest, Katsina United under 17 team qualified. From the North Central, you had Plateau United under 17 team. South, I have Rivers United under 17 team. I think from the Northwest, it was two zones, Northwest, North, East, went together and they played under that zone. So that's why you're having just 5. Southeast, Enugu Rangers under 17 team. And from the Southwest, you have Remo Stars under 17 team. And of course, at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin, the playoffs to determine who wins will take place. All right. So I think that's much we can take on that. Emeka Yama, I want to thank you for your time on the show. You've said everything that needs to be said. We wish you all the best. Thank you very much for finding out time to be with us.
Yes, Yemi, thank you very much. I want to thank you for the audience, but that's not our logo. Please, that's not the logo for the NPFL Youth League. I am a marketer, and I'm very deliberate in terms of branding. in terms of image. That's not our logo. So I'm sure we'll give you the better one so that when we talk about NPFL Youth League, people should be able to have a picture of what we are talking about. It's my pleasure being here, and I want to thank you for the opportunity. And I invite you to Benin. Join us to Benin, and let's see good football.
All right, as the chairman of the organizing committee of the NPFL Under 17 Youth League. We need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, of course, there's Archery for you, as we promised. We'll also keep our eyes on the Europa League. Match is currently going on as we speak. And again, what's happening on the domestic scene, we'll let you know when we return from this break. Welcome back. On this show, you know, we like to promote all sports, and we talk about sports that exist in Nigeria, but, you know, probably don't get talked about as much as it should. And tonight on the show, we're talking about archery. And guess what? You will be seeing and listening to the national archery champion. We have with us in the studio tonight, Emmanuel Oyeleke. Emmanuel, greetings to you. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yem. It's a pleasure being here.
You know, I don't know the angles to, there's so much. We've had interesting conversations even before you came into the studio. My colleague in London as well, who have interesting things to say. I know you don't just do archery, there's Scrabble, there's this, you've represented Nigeria at the highest level. But let's start from the beginning. You've told me a little about your journey, but archery in Nigeria, help us clear this up. There's this notion that, okay, in this part of the world, it's guys, the paramilitary guys, or the guys who have access to these big hotels, big clubs, those are the ones that can do the sport. You've said no, but I want you to convince me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, thank you so much again for having me on this show. Archery is a sport for every single person. It's a sport for everyone, from the old to the young. Archery is something that you can do, and is
no gender restriction.
No gender restriction, no age restriction, and also we have like inclusivity in terms of talking about the para athletes, which we call open. So even the blind does archery.
Wow.
Yes.
So just to really set the tone so that everybody listening to us will understand, it is not meant to be elitist. It is. I mean, you also corrected me when I asked you a question that there are people who don't even have any military background
At all.
who can do better than the guys from the military in archery.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How does that happen?
Archery is a game, as with every other thing. Once you're consistent with practice, no matter how good the other person or talented the other person is, it's a skill that you can learn. So it's a skill that is also learned via repetition. Okay. So for me, one of the major things I do, essentially, if I need to practice for archery, is I just make sure every single day I shoot, no matter how little it is that I shoot. I just make sure that every single day I shoot. And guess what? When I don't shoot, maybe for a week, by the time you go back to it, you can tell that you're not as proficient as you used to be when you stopped. So it's a game, okay. It's a skill that can be learned.
Let me throw this in. My colleague is waiting, but let me throw this in. Your journey.
Absolutely.
You also dispelled the notion that I had before I met you. How did it happen for you, you know, from being a young kid to becoming a national champion in this part of the world where you don't get easy access to the equipment that you need?
Absolutely.
You don't have a military background.
Nope.
Your dad doesn't belong to those clubs.
Yes, so thank you so much for the question. I've always been very sports inclined. I believe that sports is one of those things that can take a person from 0 to 100. Yeah. I believe sports is one of the things or activities that can change a person's destiny. And that's been my personal experience. When I was in school, I was on scholarship, playing Scrabble for my school, playing Scrabble for my state. I played Scrabble for Nigeria at some point, and we produced world champions in Scrabble. So I've always been very sports inclined. I played badminton at some point. But when I started my career as a photographer, that was back then in 2012, I couldn't really have time to pursue these other sports that I used to do regularly. So I was I think about 5, 6, 7 years after I started photography, I started looking for something else to do as a sport that I could do at my pastime, and I really didn't need a team to do it. So I started thinking about archery because I've always been fascinated with archery, darts, anything that has to do with focus. Yes, board games and focus. Anything that has to do with mental acuity and focus. I've always been fascinated with it. So I started researching, where can I start learning archery in Nigeria? And I went on Twitter. My search took me far and wide. I saw history of archery in Nigeria, but there was really no place to learn. So I stumbled on someone's tweet, I think back in 2011 or 2012, that they do archery. This person is Mr. Ladi Alakmini, which he came to Nigeria, set up a club, and left back to the UK. He's in the UK right now, but he comes in from time to time. I stumbled on his tweet saying, oh, he's coming to Nigeria to train people in archery, and I was so excited. I immediately messaged him, and it took about a year for him to come to Nigeria. And as soon as he got to Nigeria, he messaged me and said, oh, I'm in Nigeria, are you ready? And I said, yes, sign me up. Immediately, I signed up for a beginner's class, and almost like a month after, I paid for my equipment, my first equipment, because I had access to equipment because he brought some equipment in from the UK with him to set up a club. I had access to learn with that. A few other people had access to learn with that also, and that was how I started my journey in archery. I started with the bare bow archery, I went on to recurve archery, and in 2022, I started the compound archery. Those are categories of archery that we have.
And bottom line, you're not a champion.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let me yield the floor to my colleague who's listening in.
And let you know that you're a strong man. You know, in Nigeria, even people who play basketball will complain. Those doing athletics will complain. And you chose to go the way of archery. Tell me, what inspired you? Like, I want to know what is fueling your passion for this sort of sport.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your question. What is fueling my passion for the sport? I think it stems from the way I grew up and the opportunities I had because that sport enabled me to have. The first time I went on a plane was through Scrabble. The first time I traveled out of Nigeria was through Scrabble and because of Scrabble. And I feel like a lot of youths, a lot of people should have access to this. Not everybody can play football. Not everybody can play basketball. Not everybody can do the sports that are so popular. Why not create more opportunities for more people to even showcase their skills? I feel like in this part of the world, we're naturally talented at a lot of things. And whatever it is that we open our eyes to and we choose to do, we always do it well. And that's actually what is still fueling my passion for this. We want more people to know about this. We want more people to be empowered by the liberation and the freedom that mastering a skill, especially in sports, can give you. And that's why I'm doing this.
I listened to you when you said that archery is for everyone, and that's really cool. I hear a lot of sports persons say that. I'm in the United Kingdom, and there's something we're fighting now with rugby. And there's a professor in the University of Winchester, and he has described rugby as a form of child abuse because of what they put kids into. So he's saying, look, it's too rough for kids because of the post-traumatic, conditions that they get into. This is a man carrying a bow and arrow, and when we see these things sometimes in those epic movies, they're used for fighting. How safe is archery, and how can you convince a mom to let her son or daughter to pick up bow and arrow and start doing archery?
Thank you very much for that question also. I think safety is the number one paramount thing, especially when you think about archery practitioners and archery administrators. Safety is the first thing on your mind because, rightly said, the bow and arrow, it can be regarded as it can be classified as a weapon. So it is important that, number one, the first thing, what I said, is training. Once you get trained, the next thing you do is you get certified. So I carry a license issued by the Nigerian Archery Federation as of now. So, and I think that's actually the standard everywhere you go, all over the world. The history of the game might be one that was steeped in warfare or anything. I mean, the history of the implements of the game itself. However, I think archery being done as a sport is one of the most disciplined sports that you can ever experience, because you have to listen to the whistle commands. At some point, you can pick up your bow, you can put an arrow, you can direct the arrow into the crowd, or just engage in any conduct that can harm the next person. And that's why archery is one of the safest sports, and also not just the safest sports, it is one of the sports that can actually give you 100% health, because you're using 100% of your body, you're using your mind, you're using your focus, and it increases mental acuity also. So archery is one game that I can recommend to even the young and the old. And especially, you said you're in UK. I think archery is a culture, especially even in the UK. Yeah. You see the young, you see the old. Every weekend, there's always a meet, there's always a competition, there's always Gloucester versus Winter. I mean, there's always something going on every single weekend in archery, and that's one of the things that we look up to. That's one of the things we want to achieve, even in Nigeria here. Let's make archery an household name, and it is possible.
Yeah, I agree with you. Archery is very big right here in the United Kingdom. The name I was trying to remember was Professor Eric Anderson, the professor of sports, health, and social sciences at the University of Winchester. He's been pushing that fight that rugby should be treated as a form of child abuse, and kids under the ages of 16 shouldn't be allowed to take part in rugby. But now I think with your analysis, it will back off archery. I said, no, let's not go to that one yet. Let's talk about the Lagos Open Championship that we're expecting. What amount of work has been put into that, and what should we be expecting, Emmanuel?
Absolutely. We're so excited about this event. It's happening on the 9th and 10th of March, and it's happening at the main bowl of the Teslim Balogun Stadium. A lot of work has gone into this, and we're sparing no expense. We want to make this a standard competition, something that can be referred to as being done in Nigeria, as being the standard that we should always uphold and look up to here in Nigeria. So we have a few categories. We have the recurve categories, we have the bare bowl category, and the compound category. We're also having the youth category even at this event, and we'll also have another category which is called the opens category, whereas this is what you refer to as para athletes category in other sports, but in archery it's referred to as opens category. We're making it one of the events that would spot the largest prize funds for archery in Nigeria up to date, because one of the things we do is we do archery as passion. You see people buying equipments for thousands and thousands of dollars, but when they go for archery competitions, they are just awarded with medals, and there's really no monetary backup to it. We want to change that perspective here in Nigeria. We want to make it a game that people can look up to and people can actually make a living from. We want to actually make stars of archers in Nigeria. That's what we're looking up to. We want to change the PR. We want to make it a game that will compare, and then, that will be able to stand toe-to-toe with any other game, with tennis, with badminton, with soccer, even in Nigeria. I know that's a long shot, but I know it's possible. We want to take it to where it's supposed to be.
All right, I think that's a good place to leave it. I was tempted to ask you, how do people participate? Anybody listening to you and say, I want to be part of this, what do they do? Fantastic.
Archery is rampant now in Nigeria, and it's growing steadily. We have clubs in Abuja.
For the competition?
Oh, for the competition. First of all, it will be helpful to be part of the club. Oh. That's number one.
All right.
But even we have people coming in from outside of Nigeria that were practicing archery before. So they can register online. It's there. On Instagram, our handle is Zen Archery Lagos. Zen Archery Lagos. Go on there. We have a website also. zenarchery.club is our website. It's online. You can just register for the competition and be part of it.
All right. I just want to take that out of the way in case there's somebody who thinks I want to be part of this. All right. Emmanuel Eneke, I want to thank you for your time on the show.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
With all the things that lie ahead, and probably will try to be there.
Absolutely.
Just
we'll look forward to you being there.
Just to see what's going on. Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a time out now and allow you to listen to what Lagos State is doing with cricket, the initiatives, and what they plan to do. We'll do that. We'll be back for more on Sports Tonight.
We have a target of reaching 300,000 participants in cricket by the year 2026 in support of the Nigeria Cricket Federation objective of attaining 1 million participants in the sport by the end of 2026. The slogan that we have adopted is Lagos Cricket Reignite, and it's supposed to spread like wildfire across the length and breadth of all the local government areas in the state. So the essence will be, after this, because of the enthusiasm that we see from the schools and the sports masters and mistresses, we're going to have cricket as part of the physical education, lesson in the schools, or after school extracurricular activities, in terms of clubs after the school or on Saturdays. So through that, we start developing them, and then we're going to have a schools league where those skills that have been developed, the talents that have been spotted, will have a means to express themselves. So we'll have a league within the schools and amongst, across the schools, so that we'll have not only senior cricket, but also junior cricket well represented. And when we start the tournaments, obviously we'll have, those that excel, being rewarded for all that they do.
All right, good to hear. Initiatives, plans to, build a game, improve on the game in Lagos. All right, let's switch to football now. This is king of sports. Nobody argues with that. Let's talk about what happened today. The rankings. A lot of us don't take it too seriously, but of course, football is ranked by FIFA. So let me go across to look at the best footballing play nations according to FIFA. We'll start from Africa. Top 5 is what we're going to look at. The Atlas Lions of Morocco retain their top spot. They're the 12th best footballing nation according to FIFA's ranking, followed by the Teranga Lions of Senegal, 17th in the world, second in Africa. The Super Eagles of Nigeria up there in the 3rd position, 28th in the world. And of course, followed by the Pharaohs of Egypt, 36th in the world, 4th in Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, the Elephants, of course, with 39th position, 5th in the world. All right, let's look at the best footballing play nations, top 10, according to FIFA, the ranking, according to FIFA. Argentina in the 1st position, followed by France, England, Belgium, Brazil, Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, Italy, and Croatia, in that order, making up the top 10. Let me go to my colleague, Osino Ahmed. You know where I stand when it comes to the FIFA ranking, but with regards to the World for Africa, you could understand that it just concluded African Cup of Nations had an effect on the ranking.
Yeah, it does, and even when I saw that, like, why are we not second in Africa? I was really asking for too much, because Senegal, they have a fantastic AFCON. So I thought if we're actually using the AFCON, then Nigeria should be second. But Cote d'Ivoire, though, has nothing to complain about. But it's really good. The last time we're talking about the rankings at the world level, Nigeria was in 42nd position. So there's for a rise in 14 places. And it tells you something, that it was a good experience at the AFCON. Just in case people are saying, oh, we didn't win it, no. Sometimes it's not about winning the trophy, It's what you can do with that experience to consolidate your football. Now, seeing that the government are interested again in football, we must find things to do to keep that interest going. Now we are number 3 in Africa. When the qualifiers start next month, you must keep winning. Each time you come out to play, keep winning so that you rise in the rankings or you stay in the top 3. That's very important. We are Nigerians, and Nigeria is respected in Africa. But Yemi, when you go to the world level, that's why I wonder what FIFA uses. I still don't understand how Belgium consistently maintains their position in the top 5. Do you know how?
I don't. That's why I said, where I stand on the FIFA ranking. You could question. You may not be able to argue when they talk about the coefficients and all that, but just as somebody who knows football and watches football, but then, that's why they are FIFA and we are not. All right. So let's just move on. We barely have just about 2 minutes to wrap things up here. Let's talk about the women. We can't do this show without talking about the women. Let's talk about the Women's League and some of the results we have from match day 8. I'm very sure it's going to pop up on your screen even as we quickly take a look at the match day 8 results. Confluence Queens defeated Nigeria Raiders 1-0. Sunshine Queens defeated Delta Queens 2-1. Was a game that we expected to see something that turned out to be so. Abia Angels defeated Danas Queens 3-1. Ekiti Queens defeated Remo Stars Ladies 2-1. And of course, some of the results: Heartland Ladies defeated Adamawa Queens 3-0. Nasarawa Amazon Hamad Royal Queens 4-0. Edo Queens and Bayer. The game we were expecting to see fireworks. Edo Queens and Bayelsa Queens goalless. Rivers Angels and FC Robo Queens played a 1-all draw. These are the results. Also, we have just about a minute to go. Any surprises here? And of course, before we wrap things up, you will tell us what's happening in the Europa League.
In terms of keeping relevance on that Group B table, I was expecting Edo Queens to take the opportunity and run over Bayelsa Queens, but I knew that was going to be very difficult because Bayelsa Queens, they're also trying to stay relevant in that group. Goalless result. I wanted to see goals, so a scoreless draw isn't one that I was expecting. And then FC Robo telling Rivers Angels, if you can come to Lagos and play good football, we can also come to your end and don't lose. So as I said it on this show on Tuesday, that the NWFL is very competitive. Teams travel and then pick points and then also prove a point. Sunshine Queens, for instance, proving a point against Delta Queens. That was a very good result right there for Women's League football development in Nigeria. So yes, Tiami, it was a fantastic week of football. I would just hope that we'll continue to see beautiful football from the Women's League.
All right. So I guess we're about to go. So give us a sneak peek into some of the things going on okay, well, I'm told we have to go. I was able to see Olympic Marseille and Shakhtar Donetsk and the 2-2. That was a game I saw today. But of course, I'm told we have to go, so we have to yield the floor.
Yeah, and AC Milan just took the lead in that one against Rennes. It's 1-0. Goal was scored in the 32nd minute, and we're just approaching halftime. That's the show in London. I'm Austin O'Connor, and in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, that's the show today. We do hope you enjoyed everything that we're able to bring to you. One more edition before the week runs out. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.